in.
Where did you dig up that old fossil?
Going into Toshi Station to pick up some power converters.
That's no moon.
We're all fine here now, thank you. How are you?
Welcome to the Star Wars Nerds Podcast. I'm Dan Vadebonker.
And I'm Kenton Larson.
Happy American Thanksgiving, Kenton.
Oh, I forgot. Happy American Thanksgiving to you.
And
I
to
forgot
all-
about the late harvest.
To all of our American listeners, hope you're enjoying your turkey day. I don't know why it feels more like Thanksgiving today than it does for our actual Thanksgiving in October.
Weather-wise, maybe.
Well, I mean, I guess it's been a bit of a mild streak here in Winnipeg, but I guess ours is earlier because we have an earlier harvest. Is that the reason?
That
behind
is the
it?
reson
I'm not
why.
really
It's
familiar.
a Canadian cliche because at least 10 times a year you explain to Americans it's the earlier harvest.
Yeah, we do that.
Yeah.
And we do it in October. But last night there was an SNL Thanksgiving special. They did kind of all their old Thanksgiving sketches, and there was a questionable sketch on last week's SNL. I know we'll talk about Star Wars in a second. Did you see SNL last week with Will Ferrell?
I'm actively not watching
Okay.
it, but I might have watched that one if I would have known.
The one with Pocahontas.
No.
It's like the premise is that Pocahontas is bringing John Smith back to the family's Thanksgiving dinner, and it featuring past SNL Will Armisen and Maya Rudolph. They bring everybody back for the presidential debate sketches. Like every presidential candidate, Democratic candidate, is played by an outside person now. Almost everybody, except for Kate McKinnon, pretty much. But it was a troubling sketch.
Particularly from a Canadian perspective,
That's
where
true.
as Canadians we will often see Indigenous people portrayed in a certain way, and which would be reprehensible in our country.
And having white people portray Indigenous people as well.
And even Donald Trump referring to Elizabeth Warren with that moniker is a disgustingly racist thing that in Canada would not be tolerated and should not be in the U.S., I would say.
I agree.
Yeah, and the Washington football team, I would suggest we would not see that here. Though we do have a team called Edmonton Eskimos.
That's right.
Are they going to just go Edmonton Inuit?
No, I think they would need another E word.
They just went for the alliteration. That's where it came from.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. That's like half the battle when it comes to sports teams. But we are here to talk about Star Wars, not sports. We'll save that for our new Sports Nerds podcast.
Sports.
We're not going to do that.
Star Wars Sports Nerds. What is a podcast nobody listens to?
Oh, boy. We're going to talk about The Mandalorian basically today is kind of our main thrust of our discussion, some other things that came up. But before we get into that, I want to talk about our clickbait for this week.
What? How? What are you talking about? Huh? What? Goodness gracious me.
So the headline is as follows. The first Star Wars, The Rise of Skywalker clip shows the galaxy's soaring new threat. What could that be about?
What could it be? What is it, Dan?
They fly now?
Yes.
That's we got a clip last week. We got a couple things last week. We got this kind of it was another quote unquote special look, but it was like a clip show of all kind of the references to Star Wars that have happened in pulp culture. Did you see that? It's like it's got like Family Guy, it's got like Spaceballs, it's got all these different Star Wars parodies, although no hardware wars and no Chad Vader or any of the internet stuff, mostly television and movies. But that was one thing we got. And then the other thing we got from Lucasfilm was this, just a short 30-second clip, chase scene in the middle of the desert. And it's we've already seen a version of this in the trailer, in the main trailer, but it's basically they're all on a speeder, they're flying along, C-3PO's in the back, and they're being chased by stormtroopers with catapult motorcycles or whatever you want. It's like a thing with a track on the front, and the back of it pops up, and so the stormtrooper on the back gets launched into the air. They have rocket packs, and they fly now. So they come after us. That's a soaring new threat, according to this clickbait. So, it was okay. What did you think of the clip?
Yeah, it's fine.
I wish they'd saved it for the movie. Like, I don't really need to see that. It doesn't get me more excited to watch the movie.
I've been saying this to everybody who asks me about Star Wars, which is I'm just all about the Mandalorian right now, and it's kind of funny. It's actually taking my attention away from what's supposed to be the culmination of movies 1977.
I'm sure that's not the intended purpose here.
No. But I am like, I'm waiting for Friday mornings. I'm like, come on. It's like Christmas.
You really watch Friday morning?
Oh, yes.
Oh, okay. I don't.
I get up at 6 a.m. to watch it so then I can make it to school after. But so to me, it's a Friday morning show. And then I've rewatched every episode.
Okay.
Every one.
I haven't done that yet.
Yeah. No, and I'll rewatch them one more time at the end. I love that show so much that this new stuff coming out, I'm like, yeah, it'll be fine. It'll be good. I think, and we're going to have to do a podcast where we talk about the predictions we made, like, way back.
I'll go dig out that episode and re-listen to it to remember what we said.
I wrote them down.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah. I've been carrying around them with me for 2 years. I've got a school folder, and at the front I see it every day is our predictions written down.
Okay, cool.
And I think when I look at them now, I'm like, yeah, I think we're probably pretty accurate in those predictions based on sort of what we're seeing.
So I mean, I guess the idea is here that they're kind of teasing us a little more content, a little bit of the Rise of Skywalker, but it doesn't give anything away. It's just them being chased by stormtroopers, although they're a new type of stormtrooper, which of course we need for the toy line. And they launch them, and it's funny because that coincided the rocket packs, rocket pack. And there's a whole debate online about stormtroopers have had rocket packs for a long time, and it's not a new thing that they fly. And I saw this argument where somebody says, well, to these people, to Poe and Finn and I almost called her Daisy, Rey, they're fighting the New Order, so they haven't seen the New Order flying in jetpacks. Or we have saw. I don't know if we've seen in the old movies. Was there reference to rocket packs or no, or somewhere else? Is it somewhere in the extended universe? Was there a reference to rocket packs on stormtroopers?
There was. Oh boy,
there was a space trooper.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. There was that, but then also the video games had the Star Wars Battlefront had the flying,
right?
The trooper with the jetpack, and it let you do. It only lasted a certain amount of time.
Okay.
That was the premise, but they were jetpacks, and you could fly around a little. I'm sure there's more than that.
There's got to be.
I'm sort of racking my brain here, but I'm sure I know I've seen it.
So the angry part of the internet was arguing, this is not a new thing. Oh, they don't fly now. They've always flown or whatever. But I mean, they fly to Poe and those guys. They do fly now. But it's a funny line. And again, I wish they'd waited until I wish I'd seen that in the context of the film instead of seeing it ahead of time.
Well, and it also, maybe this was intentional. The same week that on the Mandalorian we saw rocket packs.
I know what a rocket pack showdown or whatever.
And then we had our hero in the Mandalorian say, "I got to get one of those."
Yeah. He's got to upgrade. It's funny every time he accomplishes a mission and gets more of that metal, whatever that metal is, he upgrades his armor. It's like a video game. Every time he completes a mission, he gets an upgrade. So at some point, he's going to get that rocket pack and be able to fly around.
Season 2 is my prediction.
Or the end of season 1.
And I was actually thinking, hey, everybody who bought that first Mandalorian figure, suckers! Because now
was it based on his original armor from the beginning? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, they're going to buy. People are going to want to buy all of them.
Oh yeah, and they're going to put out the chrome Mandalorian figure, and that's going to be kick-ass. Although they sort of dropped the ball on those Phasma figures because those all looked gray. They didn't. There was never one that really fully captured what that outfit was about.
Oh, okay.
And what I like about the Mandalorian is, I mean, Phasma does nothing in those movies. She does nothing, and now we finally see a guy with the beautiful chrome armor who does something. Who we see like actually, there's a reason behind the armor.
Yeah.
As opposed to just a cool suit with someone in it.
Yeah, I wonder if they timed that rocket pack thing to happen at the same time. We did see it was. This is of course the.
It had to be.
Yeah,
it had to be, didn't it?
Yeah, it's a rocket pack day in Star Wars.
Yeah, I think they're tying connections. But what I don't want Rise of Skywalker to do is to even go anywhere near the Mandalorian.
I don't want. Yeah, you're right. It shouldn't.
I don't want Baby Yoda all grown up, and he shows up at the end, and he's like, "Grown up I am."
It's not Yoda.
Right, you I will.
It's not Yoda.
It's Baby Yoda.
It's not Baby Yoda.
He'll be like, grown up I will. I am.
I know the world is in love with Baby Yoda.
Yeah.
There's memes everywhere. We're getting a lot of funny memes being posted to our Media Nerds Facebook page or Star Wars Nerds Facebook page. So go check that out if you haven't already joined our
memes.
Facebook group. But the world loves Baby Yoda. And why not? He's very cute. The child is very cute.
Well, before this podcast, you and I were talking about, you have kids, and I had just told my class about the Hatchimals, that you bought your kid a Hatchimal that didn't open one year, and then I was like, well, what's the toy this year? And there's nothing that we know of.
Maybe it'll be Baby Yoda.
And that's what I was thinking. Baby Yoda Hatchimal. Where the egg, he's
They should get,
yeah, is he in an egg? He might be in an egg. We don't even know.
But they should get that egg that he had to get. The egg that he had to get for the Jawas. Make a hairy egg full of goo.
No, just the egg.
Slime is the big deal with kids. Kids love slime right now.
Do the slime?
Keep the slime in there. Keep the goo, whatever the hell they were eating, and then put a Baby Yoda in there.
I was actually thinking you could put him in that other egg.
The stroller. Yeah,
either one would be perfect.
Yeah, exactly.
And they open after. How do Hatchimals work?
Well, they kind of peck their way out. They're supposed to peck their way out of the egg.
Was that what happened?
Yeah, no, it's not what happened for us, but that's what's supposed to happen.
Oh yes, a peck his way out of them.
Yeah, it's awful. It's awful. It was such a letdown, that toy. Yeah, but it could be Baby Yoda. That's a good idea. And we've seen a number of people are painting it and sketching and graffiti and all kinds of stuff. So it's just captured the zeitgeist, as it were. And I think it's kind of cool that it's a new interpretation of this type of alien that we've never seen. And it's really so already the Mandalorian has given us something that's going to last forever, and that's Baby Yoda.
Yeah.
And we don't know what's going to happen with this creature. I don't know.
Yeah,
we'll find out what's going on. But for now, the Mandalorian has him. Or he's just on his. Now, is he going to go about his business doing the bounties that he was hired to do? He can't. He's not part of the guild anymore.
We have no indication of where they're off to. But let's talk about the episode.
Sorry, you're right. Yeah, we should do that.
Before we dive right in, before the podcast, once again, I said to you, "Are you?" And you're like, "Yeah, I like the Mandalorian." I'm like, "I love it. I live for the Mandalorian. I can't wait." But maybe you don't like it as much as me.
I don't think I like it as much as that. I will wait until Friday evening, until after the kids are gone to bed, until after I've done what I need to do, and then I'll watch it before bed, kind of a thing. It's good. I'm not denying it. It's a good show. It's interesting. It's exciting. It's new and unexpected. There's lots of twists and turns that I'm really enjoying, and lots of callbacks to the original Star Wars trilogy. I like that we're seeing a little more into Mandalorian culture than we ever have before. We've done this in Rebels a little bit, but we haven't seen it in the live action iterations of Star Wars. So when we see the little meeting there and they're all getting together saying, "Hey, this guy's not legit," and they're saying, "Do you keep your helmet on?" That's the litmus test for a good Mandalorian. If you keep your helmet on, you're the real deal. So that's
what about bathing? What about cleaning the helmet?
I don't know. What about shaving or brushing your teeth? Who knows?
What about shaving?
It's all automated in there.
What about there's so many questions.
Yeah, it's so many. It's going to be ugly if you ever.
What about lubrication for the skin?
Ugh, man, I don't know. So anyway, and then they have "This is the way." They have their little tagline there, which is kind of cool. So we find that he goes and he picks up his bounty. He gets his money from Carl Weathers. And he's
weren't you just stressed out by this whole thing? Like the whole, here you go, here's Baby Yoda. Did that stress you out?
I was like, well, at the end of the last episode, you kind of get the feeling that he's going to bond, and he has already started bonding with it, and he's kind of starting to reluctantly not want to, but he still has to hold to the code, so he brings them in like he's supposed to and gets his bounty. And
I found that so stressful that my mind actually shut off for part of the episode. Whereas I couldn't concentrate on the episode because all I was thinking is where's little Baby Yoda? What are they doing to him?
Yeah, that was a question for sure. And so we saw a bit of that. They had it on a table and they're scanning it. I don't know. What do you think they were doing to it? Draining its force, draining its midichlorians,
maybe extracting the DNA for Clone Army.
Oh, it could be that. Yeah.
Who knows? It could have been a lot of different things, but as soon as he had dropped off Baby Yoda, I was just like, I could not. I just kept thinking, look, this every minute that you're not there, they're doing something, and I like that Carl Weathers going, I don't know if he wants to eat it or hang it on his wall. And his little, and it's like, well, both of those are terrible.
I gotta say, Carl Weathers leaves a little bit to be desired as
far
far
as
the
performance.
Him. I don't think he's great.
Like it.
No, he's not a great actor.
Oh, but he brings that 80s actor.
Yeah, but I don't know if we need
Predator.
That in a Star Wars movie, or Star Wars TV show, the part where he's kind of sneaking. Okay, so I'm getting ahead of myself, but it just. I don't know. I don't get the feeling. I think we're supposed to feel like he's a imposing figure that you don't want to mess with, and I never got that feeling.
I just like his. I like the swagger of him. I like the we'll go to the healing baths, the Twi'lek healing baths, or whatever. And
first reference to a brothel in Star Wars. Is that what that is?
Probably.
I think that's what that is.
Yeah, and I just I like what he brings to that role. One of the things I like most about The Mandalorian is sort of the bizarre mashup of actors and acting styles.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I can't wait to see Bill Burr. Bill Burr hasn't shown up yet, but we can't wait to see him.
But I mean, you've got like Herzog in there, and he's a very good actor. But by the way, let's just give him his due. Is that Herzog? Can that guy?
Who knew? Like, I mean, I know he's been in other stuff, but he's primarily known as a director, not an actor. And to give that kind of, it's a cold, calculating Imperial officer. Yeah, he's creepy. He's supposed to be, and that was good. He's excellent. I like again so he goes. So what happens is the Mandalorian has second thoughts about turning over the child. First of all he takes all his huge like bucket of whatever that metal is to the Mandalorians, and they make his new armor. They upgrade his armor, and then he has a little conversation. Then he goes back to break out the child. Then he goes back to take up back Baby Yoda because he's had second thoughts about this. And I like that whole scene where he's sneaking in and taking down. It kind of reminded me a little bit of like the Obi-Wan sneaking through the Death Star in the first film. So he's got to sneak around and avoid stormtroopers or just take him out, which he does quite handily. And he grabs the actor who plays that scientist doctor guy. He looks familiar, and I can't place him. Yeah. Probably have to look him up. But anyway, he's been in other stuff too, and he's like, "Oh, I saved his life. I kept them from killing him." Like,
did
what?
you buy it? Did you buy him?
No, I don't. That guy's just full of shit. Like he's just in it for the science or whatever they're going to get out of it, and he doesn't care if they kill him to get it. I don't think.
People have pointed out that he appears to have the Camino insignia on him.
Okay.
But I don't know. I have not independently verified that report sent in by nerds. I've not independently verified that, but that makes sense. I mean, it looks like a Camino outfit, but he like when he was crouched down and going no, and then I like that scene. He turns around, there's nobody there, like they're already gone.
Yeah,
I like that.
It's like a Batman thing to do.
But leaving him alive, I'm not sure if it was. I don't know. Maybe
certainly the Mando has, and we call him Mando now because that's the
Mando. That's Carl Weathers.
Yeah.
Mando, and I kept thinking he was saying Lando at first. I was like, what? They have the same name? What's happening?
So he has no problem with killing stormtroopers. Like he just takes those guys out, no problem.
That was great.
It was awesome, yeah, for sure. And then
Predator,
very much so.
The football. The baby was the football.
But even that little that new weapon he got. What are they? I don't remember.
Whistling birds.
Whistling birds. That was kind of a cool little gadget. That's another thing I like about the show is we're getting to see all these kind of gadgets that Mandalorians get installed in their armor. So and Boba Fett had his share of like, I don't know if he had a flamethrower, but he had his little line that came out, like a grappling hook that came out of his arm and different things like that. So he's got Mando's got a flamethrower. He's got these whistling birds and all kinds of other fun stuff. I like that he uses
the flamethrower.
And that disintegrator, that freaking awesome long gun disintegrator he's got that just blows people, like just disintegrates them. No disintegrations. That's what Darth Vader was talking about. Anyway.
That's amazing.
So that's cool. And so then he grabs the kid and gets out of there. And then he got, for some reason, the guild. I don't know, why do you think they get so worked up about it? Like the whole guild was after this. We find out out in this episode as well.
Well, first they kind of don't like what the Mandalorian's up to, and they question his integrity, taking the Imperial coinage.
Well, the case, and I was confused at the beginning between the guild and the Mandalorians, and they're not the same thing. Carl Weathers is the guild,
right?
That's where you go for. That's the
sorry. So I just mixed it.
Yeah.
Oh,
so I just want to make sure we make that clear. And they did have that. Yes, they did have that conversation around. The Imperials are the Purge or whatever they're calling it. That's something the Imperials did to the Mandalorians, so they don't like the Imperials. And meanwhile, Mando's like, well, I'm kind of up there as a he's like an agent kind of thing, like interacting in the real world, whereas they're out, the rest of them are kind of hiding out. So they support him in the end. They say, okay, this is the way, and they do it. And then the rest of the guild, all the other bounty hunters, don't like that he's getting the kid back. Mm-hmm. And so they come after him, and they all pissed because none of them were able to collect that bounty. They're all like, I guess that he sent everybody after that base, which seems weird because it was pretty easy for Mando and the droid to get in there and kill those guys and get the baby. Yeah. But so as soon as he goes and gets the baby, all their little beepers go off. I don't know how those work, by the way. How do those work?
They send a signal to them and the red light comes on.
Yeah, but it's
I don't know. Yeah, but what is the
Like I guess Werner Herzog would have to activate it on his end or something to say, "Oh, this thing's missing again." Let's.
Yeah, they have to make a call.
Yeah.
You have to make a call, and then there's a pay phone, and then.
But the bounty's already been paid, and the bounty's already been melted down into his armor.
Mm-hmm.
So what are these guys hoping to get from this by going after him at the end there? Like when they're all kind of
getting the bounty
him.
back and murdering him.
And then they're expecting to be paid again for it? Is that the...
Yeah, now there's a new bounty on the...
I get it. Okay, well...
The bounty hunter has become the bounty.
Ah, I see. Okay.
Yes.
And that continues into the next episode. So great kind of standoff, very Western, felt like very kind of Clint Eastwood spaghetti Western when he's kind of walking through the town and there's all these guys around and they all kind of come at him at once. And some great action there as well. And then at the very end, we have just all the other Mandalorians rocket pack in and save the day, and they take him out.
And here's where I should say that I tweeted 18 years ago, I predicted.
Yeah, what was that? I want to hear what that was.
When back in episode 2, when it came out, or when we found out it was going to be called Attack of the Clones.
And we learned about Jango Fett. We didn't know.
Right.
Did we know about Jango Fett before the movie?
We knew Jango Fett was going to be in the movie. We knew it was called Attack of the Clones. And I was like, here we go, guys. This is going to be a fleet of Mandalorians, and we will see them with jetpacks, and we'll see them attacking, and I thought they would be the clones. I was like, the Mandalorian, but I was like, mark my words, we are going to see an army of Boba Fett's in this movie. And then when I went to see the movie, there was no army of Boba Fett's. I was laughed at. I was humiliated. I was ostracized.
There was. I mean, the armor looked a lot like Boba Fett's armor. The helmet did.
Oh well, yeah.
And they were all clones of a Mandalorian.
But what I was saying, because we'd known that little Boba. Well, we didn't. I don't think we knew little Boba Fett was in it. But that's when Lucas was, Boba Fett's in it. Tell everybody.
Yeah.
Like all of that stuff, and it wasn't really what anybody thought. But I was like, no, this is pure. We're all going all in on the Mandalorians. And so when they actually showed up at the end of that episode, I was like, that's exactly what I was talking about, exactly what I pictured in my mind when I heard the title Attack of the Clones. I thought that was going to be Attack of the Clones. So when we saw it in this movie, in this show, I was blown away.
Yeah, it was
like
cool.
I was just like, oh, that's what I've been waiting for. 20 years in the making.
And I like the way each Mandalorian has customized armor and the designs are different. And
heavy trooper.
They got their different guns. That one guy's got the big, the giant gun like the dude in Predator, right?
Yeah.
Like that kind of guy.
And that's the voice of Jon Favreau, apparently.
Oh, is it? Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I didn't catch that. I just want to check something. What else? What else did you think about The Mandalorian?
Well, so as I say, I loved all of it. And I guess... Now we know that they need to relocate the guild. Not the guild. Sorry, I'm calling it the wrong thing.
The Mandalorians.
They have to,
whatever they're called.
The Mandalorian hive has to be relocated now. They and they're still fighting when he flies away.
It seems weird that would continue that long because it didn't seem like there were a ton of bounty hunters after him.
I thought they'd clean it up pretty quick.
Yeah, me too. I thought that as well, but they were still fighting. And then they kind of fly alongside his ship and give him a little salute as he flies away.
I like that scene.
Now
I know it's there's a cheesy factor, Rocketeer factor to that.
Oh, hey, Rocketeer's awesome. I love the Rocketeer.
Yeah, but I loved that scene. I really I was on board. I was like, yeah, give me some more of this, and I'm good. I even like the line. The line's a little on the cheesy side, but I like that. And I was so stressed about Baby Yoda that during my first viewing of the show, I sort of didn't really comprehend the scene, the flashbacks to The Purge again, where we had...
It's not called The Purge, though. It's called something else. I'm saying The Purge, like that the movie The Purge is making me think of it.
That's what they call it.
They call it The Purge?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they called that in the show.
Oh, boy.
It's the Great Purge.
Is that when they suspend all laws for 24 hours? The Empire did that?
No,
allowed everybody to do whatever they wanted for 24 hours?
No, that's this long weekend in the United States. It's called Black Friday.
That's right.
Yeah. But so the first time I watched it, I didn't get and remember how non-threatening those battle droids were in the original.
Yes,
they were just nothing.
Oh man!
And then in the Mandalorian, you see the flashback, and it's threatening and
Those
scary
things kick ass, and they just destroy everything.
Yeah, so they took something that was cheesy and goofy, I would even say, in the prequels, and they made it threatening. And I'm guessing a Mandalorian saves them. Like the flashback ends.
Yeah, it ends with the thing pointing its gun at them.
Right.
So
it has to be a Mandalorian saves them.
So you don't think he's Mandalorian by birth?
No, I think he is, because I think isn't that Mandalore we're looking at there?
Well, I don't know. I don't know enough of the history.
Well,
when do they put the armor on? Is my question, right? Because his parents don't have armor on. So, and maybe only certain people put the armor on. Not everybody does. I need to know more.
I watched those Clone Wars episodes. It was so long ago. I don't remember them.
And
they took out their helmets off all the time on that show.
And so did Sabine on Rebels. So I don't know what's going on with that either.
Yeah, what's going on? Yeah.
Hey.
Wait a minute. And
no.
Django, remember, we actually saw his uniform in the closet.
That's right. Yeah, he doesn't wear it all the time.
Yeah.
He just kind of puts it on when he needs to. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on with these. Maybe these are like the kind of extremist Mandalorians that are really super hardcore and they really believe in it. In Rebels, there were a couple different episodes that dealt with the Mandalorian storyline, and this is after Attack of the Clones. So this is like Mandalore has been kind of subjugated by the Empire, but they're trying to fight back, and it deals with the royal family, I think, of some kind.
Yeah.
And they don't wear their helmets all the time. They do take them off and talk and act like normal people. So I don't know. I am really curious to see. I think he's got to take his helmet off at some point.
Yeah.
Maybe unwillingly.
Oh, no, he will.
Maybe someone else will do it for him, right? Maybe that will take, like, someone captures him and takes it off. But
I don't think it'll happen in season 1.
Oh, okay.
I think maybe in the last episode of season 1, it's a cliffhanger or something.
Now we've only had 3 episodes so far.
Yeah.
So there's 5 left in this season.
Yeah.
Right, and it's going to lead in past the release of the Rise of Skywalker. So we have a ways to go still, as far as like the story here. It's really just getting started.
And here's the weird thing. Where the last episode, this is almost like the Clone Wars TV series, actually, the cartoon series, I was thinking, because that series goes through little arcs, story arc, and that seemed to be the end of the first chapter of the story arc of we solved this problem. Well, we created a new one, but now we're going somewhere. And really, they could be going anywhere. They could be going anywhere at the end of that episode. It's interesting. Now, and it also occurred to me, and I hope this doesn't happen, but I don't want now what we've already established to be overshadowed with the appearance of a star from
Star Wars.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, or with a character, maybe Chewie, maybe. But
why Chewie? Why is Chewie acceptable?
Well, this is because when you think about the era, when you're like, this is post Return of the Jedi, who'd be out there? Like, and if you've got the baby Yoda, Wookiee was friends with the Wookiees were friends with Yoda. They would have a built-in protection, and Chewbacca would be the obvious person who or creature who could help them out. But I'm just trying to think of who could show up that would just ruin everything at that point, because we don't want that. We don't want this to be the galaxy in Star Wars is already very small.
Yeah. I mean, anybody from the main cast of characters, what I predict is that we'll see 3PO or R2-D2 at some point. I think those are the ones that
really.
I think that would be the obvious, because those are the ones that tied together. Anthony Daniels is in everything Star Wars, right? So
not anymore. Well, they're teasing Rise of Skywalker, like that's it.
Well, right? It could very well be, but he has been in everything up to this point, even in Solo, where he didn't play 3PO, but he still played a character in Solo. So I don't know. Do you think he brings Baby Yoda to the existing rebellion? Oh, you mean the New Republic? Right. There's a reference to it in this episode too. Yeah. Go take it to the New Republic. Yeah. Whatever he says, and he's like, no, they don't. Like, they're not going to do anything. They're too busy cleaning up. That's another thing I liked about this episode is we got a bit of a wider view of the state of things in the galaxy. So we have pockets of warlords with it, like what's his name? We just said his name. Werner Herzog. Yeah. So pockets of warlords here and there with their troops, and they're trying to do certain things. If we're going to take in the books into account, in the Aftermath books, they're all kind of scrambling for position. They're all trying to take over and rebuild the Empire. Eventually, I think we get to see at some point. I think we get to see the beginnings of the First Order. I think somebody talked about that, maybe Jon Favreau or something, but we will see that at some point. Maybe that's what Werner Herzog is. Maybe that is. Yeah, maybe. Maybe he's Snoke. Dun dun dun. He suddenly sprouts longer legs. Yeah, in that upcoming episode, he gets horribly mangled in an accident, and then he loses the accent. He gets knocked into a volcanic lava river, and someone has the higher ground. That's right. We know how it all goes down. Yeah. Okay, so here's something else I saw online this week: an online poll.
and I think it might have been Forbes magazine, but I might be wrong, saying who should direct the next Star Wars trilogy.
Oh, I saw that too. I didn't look at it. The
Did
results.
you see it?
I saw it like on my feed, but I didn't click on it.
When I looked, the winner, it was a clear Jon Favreau.
I would get. I could get behind that. Like the guy he's a proven director. He loves Star Wars. He
loves cooking too.
That's right.
I watched his chef show on Netflix. By the way, it's quite good.
Yeah, it is.
I kind of like the low key nature of it. It's just dudes hanging out. It's not really done like a cooking show.
It's not staged like a cooking show is. No, it's just like a camera over the shoulder.
And it's a guy who likes eating food. Clearly,
yeah, with other guys who likes eating food.
Yeah.
I thought the Seth Rogen episode was quite funny. Actually, just Seth Rogen
and Bill Burr.
I haven't seen the Bill Burr one yet.
But I was like, they were shooting the Mandalorian when they did this
episode.
Okay. I try to like, that's like to me the behind the scenes Mandalorian is the chef show. We were like, oh, is this celebrity going to be on the Mandalorian? Like whoever shows up there.
Seth Rogen's going to be in the next episode. We do still have some characters that we have not seen yet. So we have not seen Giancarlo Esposito. Gus Fring has not shown up.
No Bill Burr.
Burr. I suspect Bill Burr is one of, now that we know that the bounty hunters are after him, I suspect Bill Burr is just another bounty hunter.
I think so. Maybe the ultimate badass in the galaxy. For
after Boba Fett died, he is the biggest badass bounty hunter.
Unless he is Boba Fett.
Oh,
gun, gun, gun.
I think he's too tall for Boba Fett.
And the woman in the show has yet to make an appearance, and they're using her in the picture in the what do you call that?
Thumbnail?
Preview pane. Thumbnail sketch.
Yep.
They're using
it's not sketch. It's just an image.
Thumbnail drawing. They're using they're using her picture in the thumbnail on Amazon Prime Video. So it's like she must be in the next episode. She must be.
Oh, for sure. She's got to be. And plus, we're 4 episodes in, and we don't. And people are, again, one of the criticisms is that there's not enough strong female characters, but I think we're going to see one coming up with this character. And it's a lot of fun. It really is very, very good. I don't mean to I'm just not as excited about it as you are.
I love it.
I don't know why that is. Maybe it has to do with the way I'm watching it, or just kind of, there's a lot of other stuff going on right now, right? We've got The Watchmen, we've got His Dark Materials, Silicon Valley, all the HBO stuff going on, and we're getting ready for a new season of The Expanse, which I'm very excited for. So there's a lot of choices out there.
I noticed the last season of Man in the High Castle is up.
Oh, it is.
I know.
Too.
There's another. I know. It's just endless. And then Mrs. Maisel, which I love.
That's coming up soon.
That's in next week.
Is it?
Yes. It's just like
season 2 yet. There's too much to watch.
Yeah. So it's all such high quality.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing. No. So I want to also throw that and maybe end on this, but that is. Do you think The Mandalorian will be an Emmy-winning series for Disney Plus?
Do they give away? They give away awards for special effects. I'm sure
at the Emmys. I don't think so.
Didn't Game of Thrones win something for that? No.
They might have something called.
I think it'll be nominated, but I don't think it's going to win
innovation.
It's
or
not
something.
that good.
Oh, come on!
It's not in the
it's
wider.
Amazing.
Not only to Star Wars fans. It's amazing.
Oh no!
I would say it's not
that
good compared to the other stuff out there.
Oh, your fandom is going to turn on you, Dan.
We'll see.
Your dandom is going to turn on you, and Dan Quest will be no more.
We'll see.
With all the Dan haters out there.
I have something. I want to check something. I'm just quickly checking here. I'm going to hold this up to the microphone.
Even I get bored sometimes. Do you think I had a choice? For my dead body.
McLunkey's back. It's so weird. This comes and goes. So I thought I discovered something when we first when Disney Plus launched a few weeks ago, and people watched the version of A New Hope on Disney Plus, and they all talked about McLunkey. We talked about it as well. When I was going to find a clip of McLunkey, when I played it on Disney Plus, it wasn't there. It was a different version of the movie.
How? So
it was
different servers, different versions.
Yeah, it's got to be different servers. So what happened was?
Are you sure? And you verified, signed, sealed, delivered.
I've gone over this a couple times where it comes and goes depending on when I watch it. So in one version, there is no McLunkey and there are no subtitles in the scene, so we don't know what Greedo's saying. We know what he's saying, of course, because we've seen them a million times. But there's no subtitles for Greedo. And there's always been subtitles for Greedo. I don't ever remember there being a version of the film that did not have subtitles in that scene. And then I check it again a couple days later, and McLunkey is back, and the subtitles are back. So I'm not sure what's going there. It could be different versions on different servers. I learned a little bit more about how Netflix and these streaming services work, and they do have kind of server farms all over the place with duplicate content. So we're not all accessing the same file at the same time. Like they have to be able to balance that load. So they do have copies of this all over the place. So it could be various versions of. So what I thought at first is that as soon as people started complaining about McLunkey, they were subbing it out and they were like getting rid of all the versions of McLunkey. But it's here 2 weeks later. We still have McLunkey. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on with that. The mystery of McLunkey.
Well, maybe one of our listeners knows.
Yeah.
If you know.
Chris Schiffman knows.
Oh, yeah, you're right. He knows.
He always knows.
He's Black Friday shopping. Don't go fool yourself. Here's where we make assumptions about Chris Schiffman, and then he tweets us.
He's hoarding something. And
he's hoarding
Black
Friday
cereal deals.
I think he's one of the people who punches other people when the doors open on Black Friday.
As well.
I think that's what happens there. Oh, and so we're going to play out today. Yesterday, I was reading Q Magazine, and they reviewed an album by Anna Meredith, and I have her first album. It's really good. It's called Varmints. She's synth pop. It sounds like very 80s, and I think she does soundtrack work as well, and now somebody's going to say, not only does she do it, but she did it and I think she did do it for like a famous movie or TV show or something, and I can't think of it. But in the review, it says Anna Meredith has a take her own parody of the Star Wars Empire theme called The Bump. And I played it, and it is pretty enjoyable. And we're going to play out with Bump by Anna Meredith.
All right, that's going to do it for this episode of the Star Wars Nerds. I'm Dan Vadabonker.
I'm Kenton Larson. Don't let the Force hit you on the ass.